Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Man Always George Page coming to you live on YouTube. As folks say so often, I like to report something I see in the news or hear, and this is a crazy story. Now, this morning I had to go to see my cardiologist, just to do a little run checkup because I have a pacemaker, just to run. Everything's going fine, everything's going great. I'm good. I'm good, in a good space. Well, anyway, on my way back, after I did a little shopping, pick up a few things. I heard a story on the radio, and the story just happened in West Virginia where this couple they have a family and the mother, she's pregnant, and the thing in her situation is because it's a difficult pregnancy, she needs a C-section. So Monday, the baby still was ready to come. So the family, the husband or boyfriend, fiance, he decided to take her to the hospital, but because it was going so bad, they had to stop and because to check her out. Now, this is it happens quite often, but here's a story like this. They stopped in a parking lot of a 7-Eleven, and the baby was ready to come. He was ready. He was ready. He was ready. To come to this world. In the 7-Eleven parking lot, the baby was born at 7-11 o'clock, and then the story is also that the baby's born 7 pounds 11 ounces. Now the parents to the little child name are John Brown. His name is a little more fancy, but I'm just cut out the other part and just say John Brown, and his fiance Rachel Langford. And they have a little baby. I think it's a little baby boy. Yes, there's a boy, and it's just it's a beautiful thing. It's a miracle. But here's the thing: this is about people. Why do you have to drive in an ambulance to go to the hospital? you know, and like I say, it's a boy instead, but they had to go to the hospital in a car. Why not get an ambulance? And that's just what is it? Because America, we have probably one of the most expensive, medical systems in the world, and it costs. I mean, when I was doing my mom and her stuff, her going to the hospital, it costs a lot. And ambulance, the cost of an ambulance ride is separate from the hospital costs. I mean, but the thing with ambulance, I remember a while back my sister, she had gotten sick and she called me to come pick her up and take her to the hospital. I said, no, I won't do that because the fact is, if something happens serious, I don't know what you do. I mean, that's the thing about it. You know, we need a hospital. You need to be there. It's better than that to get the ambulance. But like I said, most people don't want to get it because it's cheap. How much it takes the ambulance sometimes forever to get to your neighborhood. I lived out of the country when I was a kid, and it took forever. I remember back in the day, some people used to just pop some in the car and drive to the nearest hospital. It might be 20 miles away and even also in another state because where I lived at, we were close to South Carolina. And this is a story I saw where this guy he had his Uber driver drive him to the hospital. It's cheaper to go to a hospital than Uber. But the thing is, you take a risk because you don't know what's happening. Ubers, they are there. If you're in a big metropolitan city, Uber and Lyft, it's a popular ride share. Around here I live at, we don't have that. We don't have taxis. I live out here in the country. I live in the boonies. You need a car to get around here. And sometimes some people even have Uber come pick them up from the hospital. If you don't have family come pick them up, or sometimes the family's busy, they want to go home. And then also sometimes people get in the hospital or get to go to take an Uber or Lyft to get to the hospital. And the medical costs, I mean, it costs a lot. I remember there's times when we get bills from the ambulance service. I usually tear them up. So why don't my Medicaid and Medicare pay for it? It should, because it's one of the things. Because one of the things, the ambulance pretty much work for the hospitals, and that should be a service that's under your provider. I even saw a story where one woman got injured, and they couldn't. They said because their insurance would cover her ambulance ride, they took a taxi to the hospital. And the cost of the medical system in America is just crazy. It's crazy. This little simple thing, a bandage, in a hospital can cost you from anything to $500 to $600. They charge you out the boot. It's just crazy. And I remember that kind of that scene from Reservoir Dogs when the dude got shot and they put him in the back of the car. And I've heard stories of people being drove, even after getting shot or stabbed, being driven to a hospital. But the thing is, like I said with my sister, if something happens to you while we're driving, there's nothing I can do. And that's the thing about ambulance. Ambulance has all the resources you have if you need it. You have air. You have the ambulance driver who's also a paramedic who knows to help with certain situations to get to the hospital. I tell people if something really serious happened to you, I've done this before. I used to remember a couple of times when my mom had a slight stroke. I drew to the hospital, and sometimes I should have done that. But, at the time, she didn't want to wait for the ambulance. And sometimes it's a lot easier to just go to the hospital in a car. But it's just you're taking a risk when you do that. And I've done it myself. I drove myself to the hospital when I was sick. But, it's a risk you take, but the cost is, it's expensive. Now you have things like Uber and Lyft. Most people would jump into it to go, hey, take me to the hospital, and that Uber driver doesn't know what to do if something happens. You might know CPR, but anything serious like that, you're screwed. And the thing is, the price of ambulance drive should be as much as an Uber. It should be that much. There's other countries where it's a lot cheaper. The cost here in America is just crazy. And that's the thing is, you can claim medical debt even after your family member has, died or passed away. The hospital still sending you a bill. Like I said, when I was seeing my cardiologist, I still have a bill from the last time I went before I got my Medicare and Social Security. My Medicare and Social Security covers so much of it, and the rest is on me. And that's like I said, I live on Social Security or my disability, and sometimes I can't afford to just pay every little bill. I know I should pay it, but I can't afford it. A while back, I just finished paying the bill from when I had my CPAP. And, I'm still waiting for me to get a new one. And the thing, I remember a while back, a lady who I become friendly with, I did it for a couple of years by her, Emery Miller. She's an IFB pro, great lady, just a beautiful heart, and just a beautiful lady. A while back, she did GoFundMe for a friend of hers. He lives here in the United States, his name, and she did GoFundMe for him. And, a while back, he went to visit her and when she was still in England with her husband. And that was nice of them. They're great people. But even a while back, Emery, she got a situation. I did a video about it where she went to hospital, over there in England, and she told me how it only cost $15. She suffered from a case of smoke inhalation because where she was staying at, they were next to a harbor and a lot of that diesel fuel came in, and she had to go to the hospital. She was there for a day, and she got out. It just charged her $15. It wasn't that expensive. It's crazy. Look at the prices at some of these in some of these countries. Some of these countries have probably the best rates compared to America. As you know, in Canada, Medicare is practically free, but you do have to pay a little higher taxes. Places like Sweden and Netherlands, also, Norway, and Switzerland, they have the better system. Even Australia and New Zealand, look at the rates, look at the numbers. I mean, it expanded a little bit. Yeah, look at that. Come on. And America, I think, rated is 11th. We're better than some third world countries, but still, we're just, I mean, it's crazy. Some of these countries are number ones, number twos, and they're like, look here, England, one, three right here, 1, 2, and 10. And then you look at the prices. Look at the prices here. I mean, everything from some places like, Australia is like a little over 3,000. Canada, a little over 4,000. France, a little over 4,000. Germany, a little over 4,000. 5,000 in the Netherlands. A little over 3,000 in New Zealand. I look at 5,000 in Norway. Little over 3,000 in Switzerland. About 5,000 in Sweden, and then and also 3,000 something in UK, and then you have in America over $8,000. $8,000 is crazy. You can stay in the hospital and end up having a bill for at least, I would say, $10,000 to $20,000, and that's going to eat up half of your income just alone. And that's sad. But anyway, the precious little baby. Here's the thing. Here's a little note I found out while I was doing this, that somebody created a college fund for this baby with $1100,000. He has a college fund already. I think it was donated by, I think either by somebody who just saw this story. This is a great story. This is a great story. The baby was born 7/11, which is July the 7th of the 11th, which is Monday, at 7 o'clock, 11 a.m., 11 p.m. in the evening, and the baby came out 7 pounds, 11 ounces. I mean, telling people, there's people going to play the numbers on that. 7-Eleven, that's we play craps. 7-Eleven, 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 break out little Joe. But like I said, this is a precious little baby. And welcome to the world, little man, it's going to be a struggle because the fact is you're black. But like I said, folks, let's realize something. Our country needs a better medical system. We should be better. You should be able to go to the hospital without paying an arm and a leg. You should get an ambulance without paying pretty much your mortgage. It shouldn't cost too much to get sick in America, but it does. It does. And I've seen it firsthand, being a victim of some dealing with stuff, and also with my mom. But like I said, we should try to push for better reform for our medical system. For better, cheaper, reasonable stuff. Like especially for his future when he grows up and get older, and then he might need a situation like he might need to break his arm or have his appendix taken out. It's just crazy how prices it is to go in the hospital. It's not like watching your westerns where the doc comes out and you can pay him with a chicken and some apples. No, you gotta pay him with cash. But like I said, much respect to the little man. I hope his family are enjoying this opportunity. They are in the history books. I mean, this is just some great news. I'm going to link a link in the description. You can check out the story. I mean, it's a great story. It's just something amazing about this. But like I said, shout out to the little man. Welcome to the world, and all the best to you and your family. Anyway, this is me always George Page, aka sorry, I gotta stop myself. I usually gotta stop myself. This is me always George Page. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out.